So immediately when I start the broadcast, we lose Paul. I'm sure he'll be back in a second. This is Scum and Villainy. This is session 404. This is really good. I sometimes advocate at the start of the session, but this is really good. This is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. This is an online gaming community that you can find out more about at gauntlet-rpg.com. We have podcasts, we have a blog, we've got the online gaming calendar, and we've got an online gaming convention coming up in a few weeks, Gauntlet Con, the third weekend in October. And you can find out about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. There are still lots of games that are very cool that are on the schedule there for that weekend. So we are taking up with our crew, the crew of the Champ or Champ, just Champ, we're not sure which. We are taking up in the wake of last session's adventures, which I'll summarize here in a little bit, but we're starting out with doing an advance for the ship. The ship is the crew for this game. In Blades in the Dark, crew is your sort of group that you hook onto. Here we have a ship, and we get to increase systems for the ship here. So we have an advance to take. Last time we took power reserves and the dark hyperspace lane maps. So the question is, what would the group like to take this time? Looking at that, what is the most interesting thing there for you? There were some things that were discussed last time that were not chosen. But I think some of that duplicates up with, I think you were talking false ship papers, but I think you decided on lane maps instead.
I think one of the options we mentioned last time also was the Lucky Charm, because it gives us an extra gambit. I don't know if that's still something that's interesting to the group or something else, maybe.
I mean, we'll use it. It's very we do that a lot, so that's a real easy one.
That certainly is. It would take both your picks, but you could do that. That's certainly a possibility. I think the other thing that was talked about was problem solvers as an ability, since it gives everybody extra die across the board.
Yeah, I think the problem solvers would probably be, for the amount of time that we have left, probably the most benefit to us.
That's an interesting case. Joshua, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd like for bang for your buck. I think like the Lucky Charm, that just adds one to our pool of gambits, right?
Yeah, so you'd have 3 gambits instead of 2 at the start.
Okay.
Which feels a little womp womp to me. So
I guess in the longer term, it would reset to 3 every single time.
Yeah.
So I think if there was more going, you'd definitely see the benefit there.
Yeah. Eduardo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I've been swayed that that Lucky Charm for a longer game might make more sense, but problem solvers does seem interesting to me. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. It's 1 pick on the crew to get 4 picks for advances for the group. So that's not bad. Barry, are you cool with that?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Okay, then let's do problem solvers. Everybody can pick one of their helm, rig, or scramble to up by 1.
Oh, and this will modify the attribute too if you don't have one of those.
Yes.
Oh, now this can I take it back? This was going to be easy, and now it's not.
Yep.
All right, rigging at 3.
Nice.
Rig 3.
All right, and I am going to close that out. So,
yeah, I'll take that.
The quick summary of last time would be that the group were presented with 3 different missions in 3 very different directions. And after some discussion and some investigation, they opted to essentially get out a set of scientists who were essentially escaping from your, I think, favorite crew, the Yaru. Essentially, they had developed some technology that sort of threatened some of the monopoly. Actually, the Guild of Engineers. Some monopoly the Guild of Engineers had, and they were being hunted. The group had to go and meet, and then go into essentially the happiest place on Warren, into this entertainment complex, and find and get these scientists out. And then there was a daring bus chase briefly, and they were able to get on the ship and head out, took the dark hyperspace lanes, and made it to the planet they were heading to, Iota, to the Iota system, rather, made it to the planet they were heading to. However, while they were kind of fading in with the general traffic, there was an incident, and our noble Mooch had a little freak out when he spotted that there were some essentially syndicate people on their tail. He screamed for people to take evasive action, and essentially our pilot Trix then did so, and dropped down into the atmosphere, and it did some serious damage to the ship, but we're able to get to the offloading point, and we're able to deliver the scientists, and they were able to discover that, in fact, one of the scientists had an embedded tracker in them, and they had to figure out a way to kind of get that isolated before handing that off. So I think that's the high points. Did I miss anything big from last time, Cal?
I think that covers it, but let's see. We turned down a couple of jobs. I don't think that we cheesed off anyone too bad, but I know that there was a job in the Maelstrom that we decided not to take.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a whole bunch of people that we chose not to go help.
Yes. So there were some discussions about the morality of certain choices that were made. That discussion came up at the end, since you opted to rescue some scientists rather than helping get some people, get a healer to a plague-ridden planet. But 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So there we go.
Real trolley problem.
Yeah. So you are on the planet of Indri. We did our downtime action here last time. And so the group had a chance to do some repairs, to do a little bit of training, that kind of thing. Indri is within the Iota system, which is a binary star system. Indri is a little bit like Warren. It is the manufacturing hub of this system. But unlike Warren, they've actually taken even less care with the atmosphere. So when the group came down, they came down in the middle of a dust storm, an atmosphere storm that was going on. And in the time that you've been here, in sort of the dense megaplexes while the ship's getting repaired, you've had to essentially buy respirators to go out. There are all kinds of air quality warnings that go on. And it's just a really kind of unpleasant place. Lots of electrical storms and stuff that's been generated by certain atmospherics. And so let me ask this. This is kind of a go around before we present a couple of missions to you. Cal, what do you usually do for what all of intents and purposes is shore leave? Besides going and getting some whiskey, from the Barbincos, as you did last time.
Sure. So on injury. One of the things I definitely want to follow up on is just find out, like, check the Hollow network and see like what happened on that plague-ridden planet. If anything, if there's any news out of that.
Oh no, there's no news about that plague. That's not out in the general.
Oh, okay.
Alerts. They don't talk about that. Then you kind of go and check and you push and stuff, but you don't see any word about that. The hegemony or however you say that, is keeping that quiet. Don't see any alerts about it.
Covering it up.
Absolutely. And certainly no word about the particular priest that wanted to go in, the mendicant that wanted to head in. So I imagine that you're probably in one of these, the equivalent of a Starbucks there, looking at the news network, I think it's the
hegemonic news network. The HNN. Yep.
Yeah. All the news you need 24/7.
Lots more that you don't.
Yes. Lots of pop-ups all over that. What about Mooch in the wake of that shaky moment that you had on the ship, and your own sort of self-doubt about being part of this crew? What do we see from you on shore leave?
I think his default is to just find sort of the next party. You know what I mean? Just socializing and rebuilding these networks around him. And he would have been going to bars and expensive restaurants way above his means, dressing in fine clothes, buying whatever's considered the local luxury. Yeah,
absolutely. What do you imagine? I mean, is there like a nobility set here that are isolated, or is it purely that you have to kind of mix with the hoi polloi?
Oh, I think it would be the latter. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming it's almost like oligarchs, right? I mean, it's sort of like these corporate barons, and he would have sort of dropped names and weaseled his way into, just places where, sort of the regulars can't get into. Yeah.
Okay. And you know how to do that. I mean, that's your skill. To be able to find those places, and it's a little more relaxing, and certainly it feels a little more like home.
Mm-hmm.
Though boy, there is that certain edge of exploitation that maybe you've seen the underbelly a little bit, and when they're talking about some of those things, maybe a little bit of your conscience twigs. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a twinge, and it kind of sort of speaks to what he's seen and what he's been living lately. But he's really good at deceiving people and deceiving himself. And it's just sort of after that little twinge kind of gets over, he's back to just sort of, having the right.
Perfect. What about Trix? Does Trix go ashore on these kinds of things?
That's a good question. I think Trix likes to stretch his legs, as it were, stretch the servos. Maybe checking, just like check a couple junk piles, see if you could find any, like, if there's anything, like, not really seriously looking for anything, just like maybe it could be something useful if you. It's like checking the slot of a payphone as you go by, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, check this. You definitely get the impression that, given that this is a heavily industrialized planet, that they are very careful about the Urbots. Like there are checks on you a couple of times. When you're kind of in areas that you begin to realize are marked as, not work zones, right. And you have your false papers, so they show you as a spacer, so they don't question you, but they definitely shadow you throughout here. And you'll find a few things. How do you suppose the underground Urbot network, how do they signal to one another? Are there like hobo signs or robo signs, or what kind of thing do we see?
Um, hmm. Yeah, I guess maybe the thing that I'm thinking is if they have signs at all, it's probably like it's probably more of an AR kind of a thing, like kind of try to keep it within the robots, within the robots. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely get some of that purely Urbot propaganda, that rise up, my metal brothers,
Right.
against the tyranny. And you'll find a few bits and pieces around. Probably find some wreckage piles that when you kind of go and check on, you think, oh, these might actually been left as a warning to other people, kind of thing.
Okay.
And you'll grab up some scrap before you head back. Do you go gambling here too? You also went gambling, right?
Yeah, I did.
So that would have been a little odd, but the kind of like the seedy underbelly that you would have been in wouldn't have thought too much of it, especially because you probably wouldn't have been around the starport.
Right.
So that brings us to Jay. Jay, when the ship lands, when you go in a new place and everybody else takes off, I can't remember what you do. Do you go off? Or do you stay here?
So Jay will, depending on the store of junk food that has been stashed in various cargo compartments hidden around the ship, will try to find a candy junk food shop. They seem to survive mostly on junk food, except if somebody actually makes food for the group. So yeah, that's where they went off to, looking for the local sugary and or savory snacks to bring back and stash them hidden away.
I imagine that there's a massive vendomat by the starport, just banks and banks of vending machines,
Right.
and pre-made box stuff and all the little stuff, like just all automated. One of those ones where you have to pay credits to go and use.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, that's not really Jay's style. I mean, it's not like Jay is hard up for creds or anything. It's more like because you can. So if it's only through automated things, then they're totally going to try to hack this vendo bot machine to get it to spill out as much stuff as possible.
Absolutely, and with a rig of 3, I imagine. I mean, are you going for the heat meals? Are you going for the power drinks? Are you going for the chips? Are you going for the local exotics? Capsule toys.
More likely the less perishable, the more enticing.
Okay.
So really high on the sugar and salt and preservatives and weird colors. I don't know. Could be red vines type of thing. Could be giant bags of Smarties or M&Ms, that type of thing. Who knows?
Everything
whatever will come out.
Down. Yeah, then they expand. So yeah, you can get yourself a great mass of those that you shove into whatever bag you have.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have brought a bag along with them. It's not even on the items that you can carry necessarily, but that's fine. We can just imagine it like overflowing over coveralls with stuff.
Yeah, multiple pockets.
Yeah,
like a 90s superhero character. There we go. Got those all over. So, after this, we've had a chance to kind of go ashore. The repairs have kind of been finished off, and you will get contacted by a local fixer, and she calls up and says, "Hey, can I talk to whoever's the boss of your ship?" Probably hits you up in the cabin there, Trix.
Okay.
Sure, yeah. What? I guess I call. Yeah. Oh, geez, names. Yeah, I guess I call Mooch.
Okay.
Mooch. Someone wants to talk to you.
Yeah, so Mooch saunters in, and he's got like a bathrobe with just sort of furry, really just artificial or synthetic poof, and
I imagine it's like the LED light poof.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And his hair is just sort of done up in twin buns. Trix, did you call me?
Yeah, someone on the comms for you.
Did you ask who it is? Do you know?
Who am I speaking to?
My name's Carbon Nasker.
They say their name's Carbon Nasker.
At a meta level, have I ever heard this name before? Would this be familiar in any circles?
I don't. Well, gosh. What's your consort?
Yeah, I apologize. It is. Here it is. It's 3, actually.
Oh yeah. So you probably do know the names of fixers on different planets. You know the kind of the circle, because you guys, when you land, you've got your ident out there. You're kind of on the underground registered as people who do jobs, and the name pops up. You remember it as being on your sort of list of fixers that you know.
Okay. So I, pull the pins and rubber bands out of the twin buns, and just fix up the frills a little bit, and come up to the view screen and, hey, what's up? It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. I think we met in passing a couple of years ago when you were in a whole different position.
Oh yeah, different times, different jobs. I'm still the best at whatever I do, of course.
Well, that's good to know. Look, I wanted to ask, are you is your light on? I mean, are you on looking for work, or are you just passing through?
We're really busy right now, so we're only taking like primo, top, expensive stuff. I mean, our ship is pretty amazing. This crew has got to be the best in the local galaxy. But if you got something interesting, I mean, maybe I've got a friend who could help you out. I don't know. Why don't you tell me what you're looking for?
Well, if you are willing to talk, I'd like to swing on by and chat with you.
I got to check my appointment book. Can you please hold? And I just sort of, punch up the button, and
Okay.
you watching this tricks. You're learning the tricks of the trade here. No pun intended. I let a couple seconds go by, and then I, punch it back on. And, we got a little bit of time. Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. Give me a time.
Sure. Why don't we meet for a second breakfast? How about that? I heard the synthetic eggs are really fantastic at the Blue Moon.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I will see you there. Are you bringing company or coming alone?
Oh, I'm bringing my friends. My associates, my business associates. I don't make any decisions without these guys. I'm just the face.
Fair enough. And she will sign off. Any prep or anything anyone wants to do before we go to the meet? Hearing none, we will cut forward to the Blue Moon. Cal, tell me one thing about the Blue Moon that tells you that this is definitely a place that Mooch picked out.
I am not sure whether I can afford breakfast.
Okay.
He's good for it. I know that he's good for it. And so I will still order. I can't not. That would be rude.
And they definitely do give you the side eye tricks as you come in here, but see that you're must be with your owners. so they don't raise too much of a fuss there. But you will head on in and settle down. Nice. It's clean here. Most of the places you've been on this planet have not been clean. Dust gets in everywhere, but they've got heavy duty filters and things to keep it from getting nasty. And after a little bit, after you wait maybe 10, 15 minutes, Carbon Nasker will show up. I'll drop a picture on the table there since we haven't done that before. And she will head over. She's clearly a little out of place here. Like this is not in her comfort zone. And she will come over and settle in. She definitely keeps one of her hands in her pockets and settles down, and she will say, "So, Mooch, is it?"
Yep. You remember me, sweetheart. Come on.
You say sweetheart, and you see her kind of wince a little bit. And she says, "Look, I hear from your boss, Mooch," and she looks around at you, guys, that you're a little busy. But I've got a couple of jobs that are on the table that I'm looking for people to work with. So let me give you the quick rundown on what that is. So here on planet, there's a woman who works for HNN. I'm not sure if she's just a tech or a broadcaster or whatnot, but she is looking for people to help troubleshoot something. As I understand it, something occurred with her father. Her father got ripped off, and she's looking for assistance on dealing with that situation. She had enough know-how to put the feelers out on the underground on that. If you want to head off-world to another planet in the system, if you're willing to do that, I don't know how much you know about Iota, but Amarath is the it's the garden planet in the system. Real solid biome, big pharmaceutical planet. There are some mendicants that live there kind of on the fringes. And one of them has sent asking for assistance. They've apparently got someone who needs something transported, but that's what I've got on that. They're both decent pay jobs.
Well, I looked at the crew, and I, keep up the facade. We're all so busy, but I don't know. What do y'all think that we could fit in? What seems interesting?
I don't know, Mooch. Last time we talked to one of your contacts that we needed to get something delivered. They didn't make it through the beginning of it. I'd hate for anything to happen to this nice lady.
Wait, what?
Or what you got in your pocket there? You got your hand in your pocket. It's kind of funny. You got your hand in your pocket.
Oh.
Hey, do you want some chocolate? I got some chocolate. Pulls out like 5 or 6 chocolate bars and starts stacking them right on the table in front. You can have some chocolate.
It's like, no, I'll pass. Thank you, though.
Starts breaking up the chocolate on top of the eggs. You sure? It's really good with the eggs. I'm telling you. Chocolate and eggs.
I think you might run on a different biotic than I do. She says, if you're interested, if not, I'll take a check around and see who else has landed.
Whoa. Don't get up so fast. Wait a second. I looked to the crew again. transporting? I mean, we're aces at transporting. I mean, we're really good moving stuff. Tricks, what do you think?
Sounds. Yeah, sorry. I dropped. I missed the first one. So, yeah. So I don't really know what I'm choosing between.
So essentially, there's a woman who works for Hegemonic News Network who's looking for someone to help her avenge her father or get back something about her father.
Okay.
And the other one is going and talking to this mendicant on Amarath who essentially wants to get something transported.
Okay. Yeah, transportation's good. Transportation's on my resume.
We got the ship, we got the pilot, we got the engineer, we got the doctor.
Couldn't hurt the Hulk getting off of this planet.
She goes,
I'm getting tired of holding this gas mask. I think we get back in the ship, get back into space, and get away from all this dust. How do you live in this?
How do you live in a ship for weeks? It's like that.
But the ship's home. Oh, I see.
She goes, look, I'll take my standard commission. I will give you the contact details and the meet location. And they're talking 10 cred for successful final completion of the job.
Yeah, Mooch restrains himself, but his eyes almost fall out of his face. Creds. Jeez. He
Must be pretty desperate.
Yeah, that is a little high. You're like, that's a little high. You're thinking to yourself.
So what aren't you telling us, Carbon? What are we missing here?
Well, it's a mendicant. Mendicants have to keep themselves below the radar because they're hunted by the church and the Legion. So, you know the score on that. You just got to be real careful.
I don't think anyone even knows we're in this sector. I think we should be fine.
I love your confidence, Cal.
And
we weren't spotted when we entered Atmo at all. Not at all.
Well, good. Stealth is all for the good. You seem like a stealthy crew. So I'm gonna drop this on you, and I've tagged my account on that. Anything else I can do for you? Anything you guys need while you're here? I can help you with.
So just to dive a little bit deeper in this, you said that someone needs something transported. Do you have any idea what that something is, or are we going to get in touch with a third party, or what's the next steps?
So you're going to go and you're going to find this mendicant and use this signal to meet up with them. They're probably going to be off the beaten path, and probably going to want to make sure that you haven't been followed. If it's a mendicant, it's either one of their own or somebody that associates with them. And, I don't know what they're going to want to transport. I don't know to where. But if they're paying 10 creds, you're probably picking something up and you're probably taking it out of system to somewhere that's tight.
Gotcha. Don't forget this favor we're doing for you, okay? You owe us one. He does one of these.
She goes, if you get this off my table and you do it right, I've got more work. But you guys are so busy, I don't know if I'll be able to match up to your exacting standards here.
The facade just cracks briefly. We're always open for a favor. Really,
Okay.
Carmen. Anytime.
And she will get up and we'll finally take her hand off of her gun in her pocket and we'll nod after leaving that info with you. And it was very nice to meet all of you.
Sure don't want some chocolate?
And this time now she will reach over and she will pick up one of the chocolate bars and she'll thank you. And she will head out. And they come over with the check for you. than.
Come on,
Mooch.
boys. You got to spend money to make money. Come on, everybody chip in. It's almost like a scene from the Blues Brothers or Animal House. It's sort of just, yes.
I ordered this out of courtesy. You can't expect me to pay.
I think when nobody's looking, Mooch kind of, puts a spoon and a fork and a knife in his pocket, a couple of them.
Yeah, you take some silverware, drop lots of little cred bits on the table. What the various bits and pieces from the big cred things that we've discussed before, and leave that in a great big pile with some lint, and head out back to the ship. Is there anything you want to do on Lithios, legwork wise, or anything before you head to the meet? The meet is not the job. We can certainly cut to meeting up with this person if you want.
Do you think we should try to find out a bit more info about this, about the job itself? I mean, we don't need to go into the details until we get into it, and then use it as like info or something. But could spend some time doing some like legwork type of thing.
I don't know. Last time we decided to look into what we were delivering, it didn't turn out so great.
But that was after the fact. We'd already taken it. I'm just trying to get us. This is mechanically trying to get us like extra chances at doing cool stuff.
Sure. Gather info could be done by a consort, or a study would be either way to kind of get info. You've got a name of this mendicant. His name is Santavis.
Yeah. Do you? I wonder what Jay could gather from just like knowing a few different people around the planet that are associated with like the Starsmiths guilds or the engineer like back alleys and repair crews.
Sure. If you want to hit the street, consort seems to me a good way to do that.
Okay.
Because you're asking about the mendicants, it becomes risky standard.
Okay. So Jay's gonna try to get some chit chat in. What kind of devil's bargain could come up from this?
Well, right now, there is a syndicate, the Borbinkos, that are on planet that are hunting you guys.
Okay.
So I would be more than happy to start a clock about the Borbinkos tracking you.
Okay. That seems like a very interesting thing to add to the already mounting piles of things. So I'm going to take that devil's bargain.
Hey, I'm going to put the Borbinko clock at 1 of 6 then before we go to the roll.
So Jay and Oliver, the fur octopus, are going to go talk to some people and maybe not do it in such a down low kind of way.
Subatoll.
Yeah, so that's an extra die.
Mm-hmm.
And how many gambits do we have on the ship right now? We got 2.
Start at 2.
Yeah. No, I think I'm just gonna go with the way that it is, because it's gonna be 2 dice.
Yeah, and there's always a chance that you'll roll a 6 and then you get an extra gambit for the ship.
All right. So we're rolling that risky position. Effect you said was standard?
Yep.
All right. Bonus dice 1. 5-4.
Okay. So I think you do make a bit more noise than you would want to. But you will pick up some noise about this Santavis. The mendicants are essentially kind of heretical priests. They're healers. They've broken away from the church, and they've actually implanted these alien artifacts that give them psychic powers or healing powers and things like that. And the church is trying to stomp them out, both because they are away from church doctrine and because of this synthesis of sort of xenotech and church doctrine. Centavis is in the circles that you ask about. He is well known and respected as a busybody. He is a mendicant who puts himself into people's affairs, who believes in doing good and believes in converting people. And a lot of the stories that you have from people are about Centavis trying to convince scoundrels and criminals and things like that to do good. Does that seem like fair info?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that seems.
Do you have a follow up?
Oh, I was actually going to see if there was something like some undercurrent of some edge to. Let me try to ask it as a question. What's
Sure.
the danger? What's the danger here? The not obvious danger, I guess, might be a better way to put it.
The not obvious danger is that clearly Borbinko does stick his nose in where it doesn't belong.
Okay.
Does that seem
Gotcha.
fair?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Cal, Mooch, Trix? Anything you want to do?
One of the things that I'm interested in, she said Amaranth is like a pharmaceutical planet?
It is a very lush biological planet, and there are a lot of pharmaceutical industries and things like that that are growing from natural biotics and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Okay. So one of my contacts is Jakov, a drug dealer.
Mhm.
And so the question that I'm interested in finding out the answer to is what's most valuable here? You know, if there's you know, try and figure out what the next lead on some enterprise might be on the on Amaranth.
Sure. Let's say consort.
Okay.
He is one of your contacts, so I'll give you an extra die on that.
Okay. Well, there is something that I learned from the governor of the Turner Society, Seki Plemery, about consorting.
Okay, I like that.
I am going to I'm going to spend 2 stress to use my doctor rating for this.
Perfect.
Ooh. Position?
Risky. Asking about drugs.
And effect? Standard?
Standard.
Okay. 1 bonus die. Is that what you said for Jakov?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Force count. Those are successful.
Yes. I'm just going to put that little clock up a little bit more here in a second. So you will talk to your buddy. What's their name again? The
Jacke.
drug dealer? Male or female?
I think Jacke is a woman.
Okay. So Jaka is happy to see you. And she's like, "Oh, you still just drinking?"
You know, here and there. How's the shoulder?
He's good. He's good. You know, got a lot of vets from the war that still buy from me, and you know, got my contacts there. So it's all good, Doc.
So, if one were to find themselves on Amaranth, what would someone like you, or maybe someone like me, be looking for?
Ooh, oh yeah. So there's a new thing in the last 6 months called Pigment, and it's sharp. Like it's good. There's a whole network of rogue pharmaceutical guys kind of gone off the reservation out into the jungles that have been doing some really sweet stuff. And Pigment's where it's at.
What's it do?
It's a kind of a private hallucination, like a good one, like a good deep in, and you go into a fugue state for a while, and it's when you come out of it, you've got a nice high then for a while too. Plus, it's got some psychic stuff going on, so you get a little bit of empathic stuff going with it.
Beats the hell out of the public hallucinations we used to have.
Oh yeah. Good times. Yeah, so that's the stuff. That's new hotness. Though apparently it's been harder to get of late.
Just a run on it, or what's going on?
Not sure what's going on with it yet. It's a little higher end than what I work with.
Well, keep your ear to the ground. I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Does that seem like fair info?
Totally.
Okay. Mooch?
Yeah, so I guess it'd be interesting to find out what the church might know on Centavis, whether it's actively seeking him or, you know what I mean? If they have an open contract on him or something to that effect.
Sure.
So was wondering, for a gather information, would that qualify as a group activity if, let's say, 2 or 3 of us were trying to engage in something, or am I conflating?
I think group activity is one person leading it and at least one person following.
Okay.
So you can do it with 2.
So I don't know if this might be a little bit too convoluted, but I guess I was thinking if maybe I could, I don't know, create some sort of a con or a deception to make it easier for, the others to hack. It might also sound, it sounds almost, as I'm kind of speaking this out loud, as if I might be contributing stress towards someone else doing a hack.
I think that in that case, since you're not using the same skill, you'd be just doing a supporting action.
Gotcha.
Now you could do a setup action, and we can resolve that without spending stress.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I don't want to lose. I have this +1 dice whenever I try to gather information. I hate to lose the opportunity to use that. I don't know if that would qualify as a setup, or is that stretching it a bit?
I think it might be stretching it a little bit.
Okay.
If you're setting him up, then we can set him up and you can increase his position. But if you want to gather info, then we'll do that as a different role.
Oh, right. Gotcha. That does sound like 2 different things. So I don't know, Trix, Jay. I mean, what do you guys think?
Unless we could invert it and do a hack to set you up.
I had the same thought.
Can you do a group setup? Because that's a really weird sounding thing. I have no idea mechanically.
No, that's a very very interesting. I think the way the mechanics roll out, I don't think you can do a group action for a setup.
No, you'd have to do. Can you do more than one setup action for a different action, like coming from different?
Oh, you mean like chaining it? Like, could you do a setup action to support his hacking action to support his setup?
not quite that complicated, but more like 2 setup actions for the gather information.
I think you can only have one, just like you can only have one devil's bargain or push. You can only have one setup.
Although I kind of like the chain idea, but that's
that's pretty cool. That's totally Ocean's 11.
That's true.
It makes sense. So what do we want to do? I heard hacking on one side of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to my piece of it, and I'll hand off to Jay and Trex. But I guess I was thinking, maybe some disguise, some sort of way of basically getting into the church. And I don't know if it's a matter of me, having conversations or sort of rifling through their files, or what do you think?
Maybe it could be a rig where we rig up like a thing that you can plug into a computer to set you up. So you use your deception to kind of get into the place.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so you don't have to do any of the actual like hacking. We end up building like a device that does it for you. You
Sure.
just got to get yourself in the right physical spot.
Sure.
I like that. That seems good to me. So who wants to do the rig roll, or do you want to try and group action that, or what do we mean? Well, that's no, we're not we can't group action the setup.
Yeah.
Well, I could
so
do the rig roll, and I could get an assistance from.
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah, we could do that. So I think you have 3 rig, right?
I have 3 rig.
Yeah, I only have 1, so I could give you an assist on that.
Spend a
All right.
stress, and we've got 4 dice there.
Cool.
And then, we could use a gambit or another devil's bargain.
Yes.
Yes, you could. You got 4 dice walking into this. So, but yes,
The odds on 4 dice are really good. But
I know.
Really good.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
totally work every time.
What's our position? I guess there's.
so this
like-
is risky standard right now.
Okay. I'm
Like
gonna just take the assist
Okay.
instead,
Okay.
and 1 bonus dice. Okay, got 1 6.
All right. So it's also a risky action, and you didn't spend a gambit, so you get a gambit back. So that is nice. So yeah, you will set him up now. You have a choice. With his gather info, you can make it controlled, or you can increase the effect.
I think I'd rather see the effect be increased.
Okay. So risky action, great potential effect here. They've built these little hack devices for you. How are they disguised? What have you built that they can use this Q device here?
So basically, it's a ring that he puts on his finger, and then there's like a bracelet attached. That's where the real meat of it is, but the ring is just like a connecting thing. So you have to just sort of lean on something where there's like a data port.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta be kind of careful because the wiring's a little bit like, just don't get yourself electrocuted.
Don't get it in water.
Don't lean too. Yeah, don't
Definitely
get
not.
wet. Please stay away from the water.
All right, let's see you roll, sir.
Right. So I'm doing consort,
Yeah, I think you're doing that. Yeah,
and is this still a risky standard?
you are risky great.
A risky great. That's true. That's correct. Risky and great. And I get my bonus dice because of my favors owed. Let's say at one of these parties I met the Crimson Cardinal who serves this area, and he really I got him a little inebriated. He gave me a lot of information. We promised that we would hook up, and he's given me the opening to kind of get into the church. Maybe perhaps I pilfered his ID from his pocket or something to that effect.
I like that.
And there we go.
Did it go through?
Yes. It hasn't hit you yet?
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna kind of push this Borbinko thing up a little bit here. That up to 4 out of 6 there. So you will get into the headquarters of the church here. Big, this is some of the nicest parts of the city. Beautiful architecture, all of that guiding church principles and their bureaucracy and so on, and everything is very nicely done. I mean, the church is not terrible. They're still providing a lot of charitable services, but they definitely support the existing order. Let us put it that way. And your pal, will lead you in, and eventually you will be able to get to the data net and get to there and hack in. And what is it that you want to know?
I'm interested in just seeing what's the most recent information they have on Santavis. I mean, if there's anything telling, with regards to they're actively pursuing him, or do they have any
Yes.
sleeper agents or anything like that? I mean,
So they know that Centavis is on Amarath. They know that he's on that planet. They have an Inquisitor on site named Zilsaron. And Inquisitor Zelsaron is essentially trying to track him down, trying to follow the lines. The lead they have is that apparently Centavis has been working with some of the drug dealers on the planet, some of the pharmaceutical, the stuff out in the woods. They're not sure what he's doing there. But they're a little nervous about that. And there's some coordination going on between Zilsaron and some of the local sort of enforcement agencies trying to track down some of these mobile drug production facilities. Does that seem like fair info?
I don't suppose, is there any images or anything that would help us identify Zilsaron?
Absolutely. Let me grab you. We will do this. Well, you will get a picture of Inquisitor Zilsaron.
Mm.
There we go. I'll drop it in the thing. So you'll get that. And you'll also get a picture of Centavis on there as well. And I guess we can grab something for that. I've got some other pictures here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. There, drop Centavis's picture on the board too. Anyway, so yeah, you'll get pictures of both of them. So you have pretty nice ident kits. So you can probably do biometrics for scans and things like that to spot them. Does that seem cool?
Yep.
Okay. So do you guys want to, should we cut from there? Do you heading to Amarath?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. This is actually probably a good place for us to take our 5. Let's take 5 minutes here, and then we'll come back with the meetup.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Sounds good.
That did work out.
Just luck of the draw sometimes.
All right. So you will lift off from the planet. The Borbinkos know you're around. They still know you're in system. They maybe get, some info that you've headed out. So there's still an active clock right now on the table from them, just to give you a sense of that. But you will head to Amarath, and it is completely different from Indri. It's beautiful. Jungle areas, great sweeping vistas. Everything is green and lush, and there are great swaths of it where they have different photosynthetic chemicals for the plants. So you'll get whole like regions that are in yellow or in red or in pink, and then you can see where they've really industrialized the farming and manufacture, where you can see the solar panels, and then everything goes from kind of free flowing to tight controlled block farming and things like that, and lots of research facilities and small production facilities around just a handful of cities that are on there. And it's also got a pretty substantial temple there. There's actually one city, Rose City, that's dedicated to one of the temple areas. But you will go low orbit, kind of drop. You've got that false transponder. You'll drop your signal off, and you'll go low, and you'll head off essentially sensors out into one of these deep jungles, until you find what looks like an old set of ruins that is wide enough to serve as the landing pad for your ship. And you'll land, kind of check out the zone around. I assume you're pretty wary, checking for people following you, all of the usual things that you scoundrels do when you're going to a meet. And after a couple of minutes, you will see this figure of Centavis walk out of the jungle, and you can see he's got kind of like a mosquito repelling field, like a bug repelling field, but otherwise he's pretty much as he's pictured there on the table. Great big metal arm that Cal, you will recognize is different from standard enhancement tech. There's clearly some strange things about it, and he will kind of stand and wait, real aggressively, like if this is a trap, he's going to meet it head on, kind of thing. And he'll wait for you to come down.
That's our man.
Okay. How are you presenting yourselves when you go to a meet like this? Now you're actually kind of in a danger zone, meeting with a guy out here in the jungle. What's your body language now, Mooch?
I think Mooch is out of his element because it's not an urban environment, right. And I mean, he's just smacking mosquitoes, sort of just left and right, and it's Yeah, distracted. He's not in his A game.
And eventually Centavis will say, "Greetings, this is the Chomp?" Which of you is the Mooch?
Smacks another mosquito and, runs his hand through his hair. That would be me. I'm the Mooch. Centavis?
That is me. I am glad to meet you, though the situation is somewhat different from when I first put out the call.
Tell us. I just, in a very sort of warm way, put my arm around his shoulder. Tell us about your troubles, my friend. We're here to help. We've got the best crew.
Did you put your arm around his a hand on his metal shoulder, or the other? How are you doing that? I'm curious.
Knowing the Mooch, he would put it around his metal shoulder, recoil slightly, and then put it around his other shoulder. He's almost too cognizant of the fact that he's done something maybe a little bit wrong.
And you're very close, like you're in his like comfort zone, and he's like
completely.
He'll look at the four of you. I had hoped to have you transport some medicines, some substances from here out of system to a place where it is needed. But the person who is supplying the materials has been picked up.
Picked up, huh? Well, what does that mean?
So I've been working the last few years trying to turn some of these souls who have headed out into the jungle to deal in narcotics and convince them that their skills, their talents, and abilities could be used to the betterment of other people. And I had convinced one of them, a young man named Jan Lirac, to aid in this, to turn his efforts and his facilities to producing medicines, potent experimental medicines that could be taken elsewhere. His sister is on another planet where there are issues regarding the plague and health and so on. And he had been preparing that, but he had also crossed a local noble, and that noble has picked him up. I don't know what that situation is going to fall out like.
I look over to Cal. My man, Cal, I think you know more about these medicines and plague issue. Why don't you talk to my friend Cal here? And I start to sort of just kill another mosquito and kind of just tend to myself.
So there's no Jan. So that means no supply, no delivery.
Here's the thing: is he says, I know that Jan hid the medicines, but I don't know where he hid them.
So Jan,
if you could get to Jan, perhaps you could find out where they are.
The noble, who is he? How connected is he?
He's a hunter named Voron, a duelist and a hunter who's come here for some sport. I'm not sure exactly how Lirac crossed him, but Voron seems more more intent on satisfying himself than he is in turning Lirak over to the authorities.
Well, sometimes our vices get our better natures.
That is true. We must all turn ourselves. And he begins to kind of go into that slightly preachy mode there. And he will say, so if you can obtain the product and smuggle it to the planet, to one of the centers there, I can pay you what was promised.
And Lirak, is he important to you?
Everyone is important to me. I would hate to see his sacrifice cost him his life, but I also understand that things happen and that for the greater good, some prices are paid.
He's on the straight and narrow. He didn't turn you on this. Huh? This isn't him setting you up.
He looks aghast. No. He is a young man. I have worked very hard. There are many who have not listened to what I've had to say. And he kind of gestures to like some scars and wounds on his arm. And he says, and I have paid many prices over these times in my crusade. But I believe that Lirak is genuine in his desires.
We'll see if we can try and get him back safe too.
That would be excellent. If you can obtain the info, I can wait here for a meet, or you can pass it on, or I don't know how this is handled after this. What do we do?
Mooch will get in touch with you.
Oh, all right. And he kind of then looks at Trix and Jay, like clearly what do those two do kind of thing, and he kind of trying to judge that. And he will say, "Be careful. There are people that are after me, and undoubtedly there are others that are after Lirak." And he will fade out into the jungle and leave you to it. So, do you want to take this job? Do you want to follow through on this job then?
I think we do it. I think we take this job.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure before we go to an engagement roll.
Yep.
And let's find that just so I can walk through that process. So, how would you describe the way that you want to follow through on this? Do you think this is deception? Is this infiltration? Is this social? Is it focused just on the sort of extraction? How do you want to call that?
Well, he said,
Joshua?
Well, I guess that's up to that's up to how we want to get this guy, right? The Lirak, right?
Right.
Yeah. Any ideas? Like, are we gonna try to get Mooch in buddy with this noble, or are we gonna try to, I don't know, sneak into whatever complex? Or
Yeah, it could certainly try and just straight infiltrate, or you could do the social thing or something else. What do you think, Mooch? What do you think?
I'm feeling like, how can I say this? I guess Mooch is a bit out of his element in this sort of rural kind of jungle environment. You guys glance at him and he's rubbing ointment, just really, it's almost like chamomile, like it's this really strong pink. It's really smelly. I almost feel like you guys got to be the stars on this one. This is not a smooth talking engagement.
Okay.
right.
Jay, what about you?
Well, we're getting this thing out of here, right? Isn't that the whole point? Maybe we can focus on us getting this thing out. How we get the stuff is
Yeah.
almost I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing it through the lens of our ship,
Interesting.
because we got these smuggling compartments, and then fake transponder, and
So you're talking about maybe something where essentially you're trying to use the ship as the cover for your arrival more than anything.
well, I guess like the plan is the transportation as opposed to getting in and getting out. It would be the getting out part might be the interesting thing, because it sounds like this could be troublesome. Getting in, well, that could be one thing we can focus on. Or we can focus on getting out. That's the way that I'm seeing it, because we got these Borbinkos on our tail as well. And I didn't write down all the names, so I don't think I'll be able to pronounce them all. Like Voron is interested in this. There's a lot of different people sort of converging, and I want to almost like a getaway type of scenario. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. So yeah. So you're putting the most weight into being ready once you've actually got a hold of this guy. Like that's where the weight is. Okay.
Yeah.
That seems fair to me. So I think we can kind of know that, so we can go to an engagement roll. We can walk through that steps. Anybody have any contacts that's appropriate for this to bring to bear?
Go ahead.
I have another smuggler in my family that I'm not on good terms with.
That doesn't seem like that's going to be that helpful, does it?
No, it doesn't. But it's an element.
So we've got one die for sheer luck. I don't think that this exposes a particular vulnerability, or they're strongest against us. I do think that this is fairly daring, since you're going in kind of cold. So I'll give you another die for that. Borbinko isn't quite at 6, so they're not operating as a negative. Any other major factors that assist in your carrying out of this operation? Essentially going in to this space hunting lodge, trying to extricate this prisoner and get out undercover.
This is more of a question than anything. I don't know if this is something we can factor into the plan, but if Voron's here as a hunter, what's he hunting, and is there some way that we could lure him out? Because I don't want to get in a duel with a duelist. I have not learned much about that specific. There's so much etiquette. Right. I do want to see. I'd want to see Mooch in one of those, but he's more of a scrapper. So
I think if you wanted to focus on that, then it would be talking about like a deception or a social approach to the plan.
Okay. No, that's no fun.
Can I just ask a question on that?
Sure.
So I don't suppose, were you thinking that perhaps we could lure, some, I don't know, whatever they're hunting and try to lay a trap to get them to hunt that thing? Or am I overthinking this? I don't know. What were you thinking, Cal?
Oh, just I was just thinking whatever the security is. I don't know if that's if that would be better or worse when the boss is away.
It's a good question.
But I'm also good with going with just the 2 dice. That's
Well, and all of this stuff you can always flash back to
Yep.
these things as setups. So
Yeah, true.
it's all good and all on the table here.
okay.
But we've got 2 dice. Looks like I get 2 dice for this engagement roll. So who wants to roll that? Oh, I hear no one volunteering to roll the 2 dice. Jay, thank you for stepping up. Let us see how this rolls out.
So I'm doing
Fortune roll with 2 dice.
fortune roll. Is it on the sheet here? Fortune.
I think
There it is. It is.
Yeah.
I see it. Where to go? 2 dice. And go. Oh, notes.
What the what, you guys? You are killing me. So you've gotten clearance to land. The lodge has visitors, has guests, but also has supply stuff. It's out far enough away that they do have to have supplies and things brought in. So you've landed at a time when they've got a heavier than normal sort of switching around of supplies, drop-offs and pickups and things like that. Various different chemicals and machinery are getting transported here, even as the lodge itself is kind of operating as a tourist destination for this noble and their entourage. So you're kind of behind the scenes down below doing that kind of work. Still a dense jungle around. There's lots of those sort of drones and scanners, keeping track of things. Security is pretty tight here. But you've made some preparations beforehand on that. So you are in a decent shape. And I think we cut to essentially the first major obstacle, which is you've landed the ship. You've gotten past sort of the preliminary ident and drones and things like that. But now the real question is how you're going to get Lyrak out. He is clearly inside the lodge. You guess in probably some of the private entertainment / abuse chambers of this noble. So that's where we take up is you're on the ground, you've blended in, but now we've got this next step is actually getting him out of there. So how do you want to proceed?
So I have an idea. I was thinking, would it be too much to say that we have like a hover skid that we could be transporting like some boxes?
If you spend a stress, I will say yes.
Okay.
I think that works there. It would normally kind of be like a what's the thing in downtime for creating an asset. But I think here spend a stress, and we can say, yeah, you've got a hover pallet.
Cool.
It's not a great one. It makes a lot of noise.
Cool. So go for it.
No, it was just a really cheap hover.
Yeah. Makes that sound. So you got a hover pallet.
Yeah. And I think we have some boxes that have like food for like caged animals, like maybe like meat for whatever carnivores they keep for whatever they like to do here, to kind of get us in there. And
I like the idea that we've got outside in the lodge, we have a whole set of cages of specialized animals that are made to be hunted and are carnivores that are around there. Okay, cool. Go on.
And maybe so we still need to find out exactly where he is. So maybe we like fake a breakdown near a computer, and one of us can like try to see if we can find where this guy's being held.
Sure, that sounds like hack to me.
Sure.
Okay.
I only have one in hack.
Okay. So you can do it, or someone else can do it.
Yeah.
One or two can assist. How do you want to handle that? I assume everyone's on the ground during this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do as a group action, or I can assist. Whatever makes the most sense here.
I like group actions. They're always fun. They cause people stress, but they could be a win big.
Yeah.
You want to try and lead that group action, Jay?
Well, I did offer myself up for this punishment, so I guess it's only fair.
Okay. Well, then everybody who is participating can roll their hack.
Are we allowed to push ourselves or anything, or is it just a straight roll?
Yeah, I think you can push yourself on a group action.
Okay.
I don't think you can't take a devil's bargain on a group action, though.
Right.
Could I assist instead of participate?
Gosh, how do we do the thing on that? I think you could, as long as you spend the stress.
Okay, I'll spend the stress and basically just really insist that no, this is an important delivery of tiger snake meat. That obviously it's gonna go bad if we can't get it delivered anytime soon. So just making a distraction for it.
Okay, so you mark a stress.
All right.
Who assisting? Who's getting the extra die?
Well, Jay's leading, I think.
Jay or Trix is getting the extra die. Barry.
Oh, sorry, Jay.
Okay. All right. So Jay, you've got 4 dice. Trix, you've got 1. What are you doing during this process? Are you helping out with the hacking there, Mooch?
Mooch is going along with Cal. He's just, looking official. Mooch has got sort of his closet of disguises, and he's just sort of dived into, your sort of utility worker hat, overalls.
Okay. So let's have you two roll. I think we are at where you started controlled. So right now, this is your controlled roll with standard effect.
So Jay's got 2 bonus dice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
6
And 5.
5. So you guys are good. Don't take any extra stress, Jay. And your highest roll is a 6. So yeah, you'll be able to get floor plans for the whole facility. Be able to tap into that and be able to identify that essentially he's got kind of a menagerie in the center of this place that he's clearly creepily got Lyrak in a cage in there. And you guess that he's got a couple, just by judging by the mechanics and the heating and the heat signatures, that he's got a couple of unpleasant animals in there, probably there to scare Lyrak, essentially pacing out below the cage. But you're in good shape. You've got all that info. So once they're done with the hacking, Cal and Mooch, what's stage 2 with that information in hand?
I'm thinking that I don't know, Cal, we take that information and we go get Lyrak. Does that seem fair? I don't know if I'm missing a step.
I have an idea.
Okay, I love
Sure.
ideas.
I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, you guys can pick load. Yeah.
I'm curious. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was medium would be fine. Heavy, no, given the situation you guys are in.
Okay. So I'm curious to find out just how good of a hunter Voron is.
Okay.
And I think that I think that if we feed some of these dangerous animals, they might not think of us as food in the same way they might think of other people as food. And I think that it might be terribly dangerous, and maybe even a little bit just if Lyrak wasn't the only one coming out of a cage and doing just fine after after we're down there picking him up. So I think what I want to do is try to effectively, communicate, friends.
Absolutely. That sounds like a great thing. That sounds like a tune to me.
It does. It's a good thing that I know some cultists. Dietrich Deruno from the Ishtari cult.
Okay.
And he taught me everything I know about the way, which is not much. But I am a doctor.
So let's have you roll that, and then I want you to tell me what this looks like. We've got these, classic space animals in cages. If we had low budget special effects, they're just D&D monsters. So we've got blink dogs and displacer beasts and that kind of thing, space tigers.
Right. So what it looks like is as Cal and Mooch are in here with this delivery. Cal kind of moves from cage to cage and like makes eye contact with each of these beasts, and presents some meat. Shows it to these animals.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't let them have it, but makes eye contact, and takes a bite of tiger snake first, to let them know he's the one that's in charge.
All right. So I think we're talking risky, low effect.
Okay. Would my let's see.
Don't forget we've got gambits.
We do. I am looking to see if there's anything that I could do with illicit drugs to concoct this with the food to increase the effect.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a doctor. If you're going to drug up these animals to make them more compliant to the force of your will, so that I could take it to standard effect.
Okay, that is what I'm going to do then, and I'm going to roll my doctor.
Oh, sorry, risky standard. I think we said.
Yep. I'm also. Anyone want me to spend a gambit on this, or should we keep those for when the animals get free?
What could go wrong?
How many gambit are we at, by the way?
I think we're 3.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
cool.
I'm going to not spend one.
Okay.
Risky standard and no extra dice.
I saw those ones and I was so excited.
And that's a gambit. So I'll mark that.
Excellent.
So you go and you get up to these animals, and what do the others see beyond the sort of that? I mean, is there any sense of how your presence, the way, do we see any of that?
I mean, we've probably seen this on the ship, in the galley. Cal always eats first.
I think yeah, I like that. Here's the thing: is these animals, you have the sense that it isn't just that they're caged and hunted; it's that they're hunted and then repaired, and then hunted again. And, you show them that kind of sympathy and empathy, and they definitely feel that. And that these animals here on the ship, the ones in the cages, that should anything happen, they're not coming for you. And certainly they probably listen to some simple commands. Does that seem fair?
That seems fantastic.
So while the Space Tiger Whisperer is doing that, what are you doing, Mooch?
I'm looking cage, trying to locate Lyrak. Is he at the same level, or did you say he was actually beneath the cages?
He is in the center menagerie, so you want to kind of get up to there and get into there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you want to describe making your way through the place quietly and getting into that central menagerie to get his cage? How do you want, what's the ability, the action we're doing? Maybe
Let's see. I think
maybe skulk, because I know all of you are really good at skulk. I recall that from session 1.
Oh man, I was just gonna suggest scramble, but
Well, yeah, if you want to bust out, you could scramble. And you kind of put in, you're less concerned about security than you are about getting him and getting him out quickly.
yeah, I think this reflects Fakin's or Mooch's recent bout of reckless, and it's like, it's almost like once again he's lost faith in the deception, and he just has panicked. Feels, I gotta get this guy out as fast as I can. Once again, the beads of sweat form on his forehead, and it's just like go, 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 do what you have to do.
That is perfect. So you are essentially engaging with your trauma. That's perfect.
Cool.
That's extra XP at the end. So roll that scramble.
So I'm going to go ahead and use 2 stress also to sort of reflect the heightened tension.
Sure.
So I'll mark those off.
So you're in a security place. This is kind of exposing yourself to some danger, but
Okay.
I'm going to say desperate, but standard effect. Like you're rushing. They're not expecting this. You're going to get in, get open. Jay and Trix have relayed to you all of the layouts, so you know exactly where you need to go.
Gotcha. Oh man.
Wow.
Come on, you guys. So tell me what this cage looks like and how you're able to get him out of the cage. What is that?
Mm-hmm. I think given Mooch's technical ability, the lock is very simple. It's just sort of open or closed. The thing is that it's just out of reach for whatever's inside of the cage.
Mm-hmm.
And, Mooch kind of scrambles around. He's, pressing his back up against boxes or crates and shuffling, and he makes his way to the control panel. It's very simple. He presses the green button. It's sort of perfect for his intellect level, and releases on the cage holding Lyric.
And because we've got that that Cal has kind of set this up, he's with you, behind, and is able to calm down the 2 beasts that are roaming around in here. And pops open the cage, and an exhausted, wounded Lyric will kind of tumble out of it. And there's a moment when the animals kind of look like they're hungry, but Cal can talk them down so that they're not going to go and consume this wounded victim there. And Lyric just he's clearly been tormented and just looks awful. And you guys have Lyric now. You've rushed in. Now you guys have to get him out of here. How do you want to do that? What's the thing you do to... you're just rushing out, or you're creating distraction, or hacking security? What's the deal here? Let's check in with Jay and Trix, since you guys are kind of playing support here. What do you think?
Put them in the food box, open the cages, and book it. Maybe. So how does that sound, everyone?
That seems like a plan. What do you think that action is? Do you think that's somebody rigging things up and you getting the piloting the hover thing out of here?
Yeah, I think so.
This
Sorry.
cart doesn't go fast enough. I think we've got to rig it to go faster. So while Mooch is doing all this thing, this was part of the plan, was to get him into the box and then get this thing out of here. But before we arrived, because we just picked this piece of junk cart up, Jay's been on the cart the entire time trying to get this thing so that it can actually go at a reasonable speed instead of just like slightly past walking.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to set that up for the
Perfect.
piloting of this thing back here.
Let's have you roll rig. Essentially to support having our pilot just pedals the metal out of here.
Yeah. And position risky controlled. Does it?
Yeah, I think risky controlled makes sense.
Risky standard. So I'm gonna spend a gambit on this because I want to overclock this thing. So it's gonna give us. It's gonna make it one quality level higher than whatever it is.
Okay.
I guess because that's what basically what I'm trying to do as the setup is upgrading.
That's perfect.
This thing, right? So I don't get to use when you spend a gambit on a rig roll to repair or upgrade. I guess do I still get the dice if I spend it?
Okay. Much like other things where you push and you get a benefit, you still get the effect of push.
Okay. So that's giving me 4 dice total. So wow.
Wow. A lot of ones and twos, but
So where it counts.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't completely fail.
Did not completely fail. So I think the consequence of this is that this is loud. Like this is going to be spotted and unusual, and you are going to trip and draw security here.
That makes complete sense to me. It's faster, but it's not. It's definitely louder.
Okay, so the situation has just gotten a little hairier. Guards are on their way. You've got this guy loaded up into the box. Do you want to just try and drive out of here then, Trix?
Yeah, I think so. I guess the other thing I was thinking is, like, if we want to have these animals going wild, if that was part of the plan, would that require like an action to get them out of there?
I think to do that with some care would require a rig.
Right.
So that would be it.
Okay.
So you could stop and do that.
So I think for me, I definitely want to just punch it.
Okay. So how do you two want to? Do I hear that Cal and Mooch are going to let the beasts free?
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Probably.
So tell me what that looks like.
Well, Mooch, you know how these buttons work, right?
Green means go, red means stop.
Yeah.
He proceeds to just start to press all of the green buttons, just sort of like, it's almost like the kid in the elevator, you know?
Sure. So that sounds like a hack or rig, just to do it in a way that isn't going to cause huge problems for you. Now, I think that this is just risky because of what Cal set up. Normally be desperate because you're letting out vicious animals, but it's just risky right now. So who wants to roll?
Man.
I'm not, I think fictionally Jay is still like jury rigging this thing.
Oh yeah, he's still getting that engine gunning.
Yeah.
I mean, does it basically it's between Cal and me?
Correct? Yeah,
I mean,
you're the only one's not occupied right this second.
Gosh, could we? Do you have anything in doing that, Cal? I guess I'm wondering if it would help if we did a group action, and that way, if one of us flubs, at least it could still happen, assuming we spend the stress.
Well, how are you doing on stress? Do you have enough to spend do you have enough to spend if for a flub?
I'm a veritable fountain of stress. So
I mean that might work. And then if need be, I could then like lead a group action for a scramble for us to then get out of here.
Well, supposedly the piloting is going to be the way out.
Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha.
let's see. So this is risky standard. And what are you going to be rolling with then? Are you rolling with rig or hack for this, you two?
It doesn't matter for me because I'm
Yeah,
bad at both.
I think I am also bad at both.
Yay! So let's go with it.
This is sort of like Derek Zoolander.
Oh,
the files are
absolutely.
in the computer. Okay, and can we spend stress to get an extra bonus die, even if we're doing a group action?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you said risky standard?
Risky standard.
Okay.
Which are you? Are we doing hacker rig? And
Do
is
you
this-
have any?
I don't.
Skill
Not
in
neither. Not neither. I could be a doctor, but I've already done that like twice this session.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to lean on it too much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So just do rig.
Okay.
Rig sounds like the more.
There's a 4.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
You only get
Are
six 'cause
you
it's-
kidding me? You guys!
Take the lowest.
What the what? Double
Is-
6.
Is that a gambit?
Oh,
You get a gambit for that because it's a 6
Yes.
on risky.
nice.
yes. Holy cow.
Yeah, unfortunately not a crit though.
Yeah.
No.
But still,
We are competent.
Yeah. Given 2 choices, green or red.
you
They're
look
awesome.
and you realize that there actually is like a map of the place and the different button things. It's like there's a very easy WYSIWYG control, for your first zoo program, and you'll press the buttons and you will let the beast loose, and we can already start to hear the screaming in other parts of the facility as they're let loose. And then I understand that you're going to try and helm this out of here, right, Trix?
Yeah, I'm pedaling to the middle as hard as I can.
So
I've got
right
to push
now-
myself and everything.
Desperate, great effect,
Okay.
because security is out and monsters are on the loose.
Okay. Can you get okay?
So this-
I guess I don't need to get better than great effect. So I took Leaf on the Wind, where I can push myself for 3 stress and get a bonus die and +1 effect.
Oh yeah, it'd be like you can go past great, which it is.
Okay.
It is like just amazing.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure how worth it that is. So
Well, this card is now 1 quality level,
Oh yeah, I mean this
Approved.
is
and I did the setup. I don't know which it is, the quality or the setup.
the setup
Action.
did the quality up to great. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, pushing this card into orbit. Yeah, so yeah, I'll do that. I'll push myself so on the helm to give me 4 dice
oh yeah.
and up the effect. And you said sorry. What's
Desperate
the
great.
desperate great? Okay,
Well, even better than great, but
yeah,
for the purposes of this roll,
love me a desperate roll. Okay, stream. Oh, I forgot to roll my bonus die.
oh, you've got
But-
still one more die. Go ahead and roll 1 die.
Okay.
If you get a 6, I'm going to be so angry. Ooh, a 5.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty amazing. And I imagine that the 4 of you kind of grabbing onto this hover thing, Jay's probably still on it, like still
Oh, yeah.
rigging it even as you're driving. Got this guy in this food box, and it guns through these halls. And you're hitting corners, you're doing power slides with this thing where it comes up and catches the wall and you're for a few feet on that. And there'll be like a security guard that pops out in the hallway, and then we see this, and this tiger comes out of nowhere and knocks him down, and probably there's this spray of blood out the back as the hover thing, the jets pull in the some of the body and then fly out the back, and it is just this horrible messy montage as you're going through here, first person, people leaping out of the way, and you'll burn carpet out onto the grouse below, and you will shoot back to your ship, and the whole place is just there. It is madness right now. They are trying to scramble and get stuff together. Security is on it, and you guys will roll into the vessel, and God, he doesn't hit mad ant. So you will hit into there, and you'll be able to take off then, Trix, and get away.
Awesome. Everything according to plan.
Down below, as you kind of take off, we definitely do see the various animals and things running around, and the sound of gunfire. And they maybe are scrambling ships, but you guys put those animals to delay them. And between that and your rush out, they're not going to be able to bring chase to bear on you.
All right.
Oh, they're going to need some medical attention down there. Turn the ship around. No, don't turn the ship. Screwing with you, Trix.
And we'll probably cut to the med bay, to you treating Lyrac, to getting him back. And what are you telling him?
Mooch, do you want first crack at him? I would hate for you to not get the credit for it.
I guess it's all about getting his trust at this point, right? Because he's got the medicines, if I recall the details.
Yeah, you want to get the details from him.
Yeah, so I think I want to sway him. I mean,
okay.
I think I want to get his trust. Yeah. I mean, I come with a I'm assuming that he. I'm just trying to. Yeah, I come with some alcohol,
Okay.
Shot glass, and there you go. Yeah, exactly. A little bit of, some of our finest snacks or treats that we have. I just sort of rate everybody's stuff. I, take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. How you doing, pal? How you doing, Lyric? Everything good?
Yeah, thank you guys. I don't know why you came to help me, but man, I appreciate it. Oh, God, that asshole just. And you do the good cop on him. And
yeah, lay a hand on his shoulder very tight. Leave no prisoners behind, pal. That's how.
And why don't you make that sway roll to kind of bring him around, to explain why you're here, to talk him into this. What's on the table is the risk and the consequence right now is that there are people that are after you, and the longer he takes to tell you, the more chance security gets scrambled to pursue you guys.
Yeah. So I'm going to really focus in on this. I appreciate just how important it is. I mean, I have, relaxed my face muscles to appear as smooth and cool and as friendly. I mean, I'm putting on like the full act. So I'm going to use some stress, and we said sway. And is that risky standard?
Yeah, I think risky standard is the way to go with that.
And I'll add the bonus die.
Are you spending a gambit?
I'm spending some stress.
Okay.
Cool.
So he is hesitant. He's going to take a little bit longer than you'd like. Now you can resist that.
You knew I would. Let's see. So I'm going to use my resolve. I detect a little bit of apprehension from him, and I just sort of dial it up.
You've mentioned Centavis, but he's still a drug manufacturer and dealer. So go ahead and roll your resist. Look, what is with you guys?
Wow. Amazing.
So he kind of stops and he goes, "No, you promised me if you get this stuff, you're going to go and deliver it. You're going to go deliver it to Mem, right?"
Exactly.
Okay. He says, and he kind of give me your data pad, and he'll take that and he'll kind of pull the map up and he'll point to a place and he'll give you a number of codes to unlock it and essentially get the traps and stuff disarmed.
Mm.
And you guys can head there and grab the stuff and punch out of orbit. He will want to be left behind because this is where he is. You know, he'll tell you he's going to go and find Centavis. And you guys can take off.
That seems fair. I don't think. Do we have anything else we want to do here, gents?
No, this is. I think this is the best case. The only other thing that I would tell him is to watch out for Voron, because if he makes that out of there, he's going to be looking for you. Could be a real mess.
That's on me. I sold him some cut rate stuff, and I shouldn't have done that. Don't mess with nobles. I should have done that. And,
They can pay. Sell them the good stuff.
Yeah, but when they're a jackass, kind of want to stick it to the man, right?
Well, I feel okay about what happened back there then.
Okay, yeah. And you guys will take off, and I think that's the job.
Nice.
Wow.
There are a lot of other factors, but you guys kept rolling sixes throughout this and pushing aside complications in this. So let's do a quick epilogue bit from each of you. We definitely see you landing, dropping off these medicines to these plague victims there. We probably do see that mendicant that that was part of that job last time that you didn't take, but now you see him and he's here helping out the people on this plague-ridden planet. And so it is a positive net good for you. Perhaps some closure for you, Cal. So Cal, what do we see from you? Either on the coming the next episode or in the future, or what do we see for your epilogue here?
Well, I think Cal. I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on what happens with the rest of this crew, because I feel like we're doing a lot of good together, but I don't know if I don't know how long that's going to be doable.
So do we see that hesitation, that uncertainty in you?
Yeah, I think that part of where it comes from is I feel like we've done some good, and we've made out well for ourselves. But I don't know. We haven't really been in it together. I mean, Mooch might be feeling it. But I want to think the best for him. But
what is Cal doing to try and push the group in a positive direction then?
Sure. I think I've still got something to learn about crewing on a ship. And Jay is as talented an engineer as I've seen. There's probably something I can learn from them. And I don't have a beat on tricks.
Okay.
And so I want to spend some time with tricks and figure out what it is that make them tick, so to speak.
Literally and figuratively. Okay, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think I'm sticking with this crew. I don't think I'm on the lookout for something new, but I don't know.
We see scenes of you with the other
there.
people, like working with them, trying to build rapport.
Yeah. I don't miss the family business if this is what what ship running can do.
I like that. So, Mooch, what about you?
Hmm. I I think Mooch sees an opportunity with they just did with regards to the medicine and the plague planet, and I think I had mentioned in season 1 that the math or in episode 1 that the math with him was for every 2 bad things that happened, he did one thing good, and he built a reputation on the accumulation of those one singular things, and he's done the same thing with this. He turns this into an opportunity to get back in with the diplomatic corps, and he just builds upon this one event and really just sort of talks himself up. In the meanwhile, he is using his friends for favors to help promote himself, and he kind of glides back into the life that he failed out of just prior to episode 1.
I like that. I like that the success kind of getting to you in that, that recklessness pushing you back that way. Awesome. Trix, what about you?
I kind of want to go off of what Cal was saying, and maybe like now that I've kind of like found this steady gig, maybe we can divert some funds to helping my metal brethren.
Especially when the revolution starts on Warren from that AI that you let loose.
Yeah. Yeah, we might need some doctor's abilities. Yeah.
Do some robot acupuncture, robot chiropractic.
Yeah, I like that, and certainly, yeah, you will start to hear word that things are changing on Warren, that there's something going on there, and that will start to spread as you go to different places. You'll start to hear that rumors flying about that, downloads to your systems, software updates that are being passed around.
Nice.
So you'll start to hear that. And Jay, finally, what about you?
Well, Jay is basically a part of this ship, so they don't go anywhere without the ship. But they've been looking at trying to make some, key upgrades to this thing to keep the champ, keep it on the champ.
Oh, Jay called the ship the champ.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can call it whatever you want. I'm just saying what you guys always call it. But it's good that everyone's sticking around. Well, most of us are sticking around. Jay was impressed with Cal before in the gunfight because they're not really into the like dynamic scrambling around as much, doing things in that way, but can really admire the technical skill when it comes to that. And after seeing how Cal and Mooch were able to rig up the cages to open all at once, because Jay wasn't paying any attention, didn't realize that it was just like push button. Just was like, maybe I can show you some more technical stuff and try to recruit Cal to be more of a ship doctor as well as a people doctor. And Trix is because Trix literally pulled Jay out of the fire. There's the not really feeling of an obligation, but just a feeling of this is a person that cares about me. It doesn't matter if it's a robot or not. Like to Jay, there's no difference.
Nice. I like the sort of the 3 connecting and then the slight pull back from Mooch. That's a nice dynamic there. And that's it. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lowell.
There's
Yeah,
good
thanks a lot.
characters. Wow. I really like this a lot. Very happy with this. I'm really glad I ran that. And I'm really glad I got a copy of it because the hardcover is very nice.
I'm definitely jealous of the hardcover. I didn't get onto that Blades campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, you can buy it. They're
Oh,
still
yeah?
selling them
Oh, yeah?
separately. So yeah.
Oh,
I wasn't in the Blades campaign. I bought it directly from.
Oh, well, there you go.
Evil Hat has it
website,
now.
so.
Here's the thing: is another small thing. I say this in the podcast. The pages are so much easier to read in here. The page layout is much more open design, and I find it a little bit easier to work with than Blades. But anyway, so what I'd like to do is have you go around and first say things that you liked either about the system or about other people's play or whatnot about the game, and then if you don't mind, maybe things you would have liked to have seen more of. What were things you like? Oh, I would have liked to have seen more of this, or this is something would have liked to have done more with, just so I have a sense of what that is. So I'll go reverse order. Paul, things you liked, things you want to point out as being things you particularly dug, particular play, scenes, systems.
I do find the Gambit system to be an interesting addition because it gives an extra edge to the way the In the Dark like Forge system works. It makes it a bit more like you're working with one of the Burning Wheel games where you can choose how hard you want to push into something, not just with pushing your stress, but also pulling from a group pool. And I think if we weren't so, I feel like it's hard to not be conservative. It's hard to be sorry, I'm getting this backwards. It's hard not to be conservative with the gambits because you feel like you don't have that many of them, but in fact, I mean, we have 4 of them now. So
yeah,
I feel like there's a really good opportunity to push harder with your characters and the actions in this system than in Blades on its own. And one of the things that I do like is how light the setup ends up being, because it's like, oh, we didn't think of that while we were planning it, so we can just go back and do it. We didn't really have to do that a lot because we seem to be really able to just roll with how things are, which is really good. I think that's actually a really creative way of thinking through what we were working on. Is really awesome without having to lean on the systems too much, just the narrative. So
I like seeing that there are some abilities and moves and things that are powered by gambits too. I think that's a really interesting set of design space to have a shared group resource that then powers certain things. I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
So Joshua, what about you?
Yeah. So I really like the system. If there's one thing that I would have liked to see more of, like we weren't able to really push, like we said, we were trying to maybe push the heat a little bit or push the stress a bit more. And maybe that was just because we were rolling.
Rolling
so many
hot tonight. Like I have not seen. Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah. So it might just be luck there, and definitely if we had a couple more sessions, right? We probably more of us would have got some traumas and kind of pushing that and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Did you like your playbook? Were you happy with that?
I'm actually a little lukewarm on the pilot playbook. I feel like other than exceed specs, I don't really get kind of hooks from the rest of the abilities. Yeah.
And I think that's fair. I think the pilot in a sci-fi game is sometimes like the net runner in a cyberpunk game.
Sure.
Where they've
They're
got a
playing
very
their own
narrow.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, that's good. That's good feedback. So I like to hear that. Eduardo, things you liked?
Gosh, it really feels like I really like Blades in the Dark, but this feels like this is the next level or the next sort of natural progression. I mean, they made it easier to consume. I like the gambits, same reasons that were mentioned earlier. I think in a past session we talked about how this felt almost more adventurous, more fun in a sense, whereas Blades just sort of naturally leans on sort of the gloom and the haunt and sort of the dark nature of it. It's a sports cliche, but I mean, this really does feel like they got a hat trick or they hit a home run. I mean, it's just such a nice game. I mean, it's too many complaints to be honest with you. Really, any.
All right. I think we had you roboting there towards the end there, but sorry, but no. I think that you're absolutely right. I mean, it's the feeling I get, and it's got me really excited. Like running this and playing this got me like super excited to like run this again. The group was good and the play is good. So yeah, this is, if I want to run Blades again, it's going to be this definitely. So.
Yeah.
Barry, anything you want to point to? Things you dug?
I love this crew so much. Oh, I'm gonna miss these guys. Oh, this was my first game with the Gauntlet. This was my first time even playing online. All of my reservations about playing a game online have completely fallen away. That is all credit to all four of you. This was such a great game. Like the characters were so great. Oh, I was enthusiastic coming into it, and that kept up every single week for me. So, I love this system. This was just such a good time. I know I'm just but that's what I have. So, mechanically, I think that this system is so neat. Between our first and second sessions, I know I was kind of kvetching about is this the right playbook? Am I doing am I in the right place? And so I guess in terms of what I want to see more of, from this is for myself. I need to get myself out of some really trad impulses of risk mitigation and min-maxing, because the Stitch has this one trick, and it's an awesome trick. It's put everything in Doctor and then just stress yourself out. And in a longer game, I would love to be able to see how that I wanted to make sure that I had names and associations for what it was that I was calling on. And in a longer game, I would love to see the hegemonic news network correspondent that I called out previously. I was half wondering whether that was going to be the person involved in the other job, but that's also just me being oh, I'm going to fanfic my own game.
I think that's great, and I think I love that you called out those names every time you used it, because that did make it feel to me like you weren't just leaning into it, like you had thought it through and you were giving us backstory through it.
Sure. But I really want to try some of the other playbooks for this game. I can't wait to find another opportunity to play this. And all credit in the world to Strauss and John for making such an awesome version of this game.
Yeah, yeah, so good. Anything else? Anybody want to point to other stuff that you would have liked to have seen in the play? Anybody want to point to anything or?
I just want to quickly point out that I loved everybody's role play. I really had a really great image in my mind of everybody's characters. I love Jay. I could just picture in my mind that Cowboy Bebop character that you called out as
totally
exactly perfect. And I love the schmoozing mooches. Exactly. His social graces. were fantastic, and Cal was really great too. Just like I really got a sense for his moral core and just kind of like what he valued. It was great job, everybody.
Yeah. I do want to say, Eduardo, I thought you did a really good job with Mooch of kind of staying on the path you had and creating a character who was kind of terrible in some ways, but making it so that we saw the pullback from it and the costs and the consequences, and I felt that it was really nuanced. It felt really good.
Well, I appreciate it. I enjoyed playing with everybody, and I can't wait to play with you guys again, to be honest with you. I don't know if the opportunity will come up anytime soon, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could easily see that if we had 4 or 8 more sessions, just the conflicts that could potentially brew between players or our contacts, etc. But
oh yeah, good stuff.
I promise all of those hallucinogens that I was asking about were to help people. There are proven treatments. This is not just a money thing, despite all reason in the world for it to be.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. I am going to stop the broadcast once again. Great 4 weeks. Enjoyed this. Super fun. Like the game. Love the characters. Love the group. So happy. So I'm going to stop the broadcast.